Hey guys, it's Ken here, and today you're listening to the Autism Experience podcast. Hey guys, it's Ken here, and today I'm going to be doing a podcast to talk about my experiences with Best Buddies. I know it's been quite a while since I've been doing a podcast like this, but part of my 2-month break was to focus on my commitment to supporting Best Buddies and to really focus more on my mental health, which has been very impacted by school, COVID, and just a bunch of personal issues that it really existed way before and suddenly started to come to fruition the moment that I graduated from San Jose State University. And so for anyone who doesn't know what Best Buddies does, it's a wonderful organization that's dedicated to supporting students with learning disabilities. And one way they do that is by having workshops to teach students job skills, outings where you get a chance for students without disabilities and students with disabilities to connect with each other and form friendships and bonds. So it's a very wonderful organization, and it's been around for more than 10 years. And it's an organization that I'm proud to have joined during my time at San Jose State. Now, it was a very interesting case about what got me to Best Buddies, because before I joined Best Buddies, which was around, I guess, August 2019, before the start of my last year at San Jose State, at the time, I was just finishing up my job, leave at the San Jose Evergreen Community College District as a research assistant. And at the district office, I was working to support the Office of Institutional Research, conduct valuable research that helps them evaluate how well the school's doing and understand what could be done to really address those concerns. Some of which include student success rates, graduation rates, and a lot of that. And so having left that position, I left with the humanitarian kind of spirit. I loved supporting students, supporting noble causes, and on top of my experience volunteering, doing community service in the past as a student, I felt really excited about what student success means to me, and I wanted to continue supporting that. Because as a student with learning disability, I understood how much of a privilege it is to be able to go to school and be able to to be able to take care of yourself and to be able to go to college. All of those things that some take for granted and some people only dream of. And so knowing that, I want to be able to do my part to give back to the community and help others. And so I wanted to spend my last year at San Jose State doing something like that. And so I looked for different organizations across the campus for something that really speaks to those interests that I have. And one of those interests was Best Buddies. And I was hooked the moment I read the description. It talked about supporting students with disabilities like autism, Down syndrome, all that stuff, which connects to me personally as someone who's grown up with autism. And not to mention the idea of just focusing on having friendships between people, diverse groups of people, especially students with disabilities and students without. That stuff I really cared about because at that moment I had a few friends, but some graduated, some moved on, and I didn't have that many friends to begin with. And so I thought, this could be a chance for me to build more friends. Because there are times where I do feel alone, and I just want to connect with people, and building friends is a good way to start. So I ended up joining Best Buddies for my last year at San Jose State. And the first few meetings that I've had with Best Buddies were pretty interesting. I got to meet the officers who came from a diverse range of backgrounds, some of which were child development majors, some were teaching majors, and a lot of that stuff. And there were a few people that were, I guess, one of them was a math major for teaching, one was an engineer, chemical engineer. So really diverse range of students that were in the group. And not to mention, I got to meet the buddies too, the students though from this post secondary that was in in Camden, I think. Yeah. And so one of our first outings was the painting party where we and the buddies got together and we had a painting party. We just painted whatever we want. And that was an opportunity for me to socialize with the buddies and got to know them. And the group of people I met were extremely diverse. We're talking about people who were people who have different types of disabilities, people with different interests, people were into stuff like the Beatles, and really diverse range of people. And I got a lot of excitement just talking to them. And it gave me a sense of the kind of people that I'm going to be meeting and hanging out with over the course of the year. And later on, we had a matching party. We had a matching party for this peer buddy system, which is the system where, for a year, if you do join the system, participate in it, you get matched up with another buddy based on common interest, and you spend time with them. You treat them as your friend, and you do stuff where you get opportunity to practice social skills and get a chance to meet the other person. Some examples include just hanging out with them, talking to them once a week, doing at least 2 hangouts a month, ideally, or probably grabbing pizza together and things that you would do with a friend. But at the time, I didn't join the peer buddy system because it was my last year and I had a lot of coursework to get through, and I wasn't sure if I had time to be able to do that kind of stuff. Because with my last year being the year that I joined Best Buddies, I don't want to mess it up, and I don't want to delay my graduation by a semester or even a year. So I wanted to focus on that. But then around later on, during my fall semester of 2019, one of the club officers reached out to me and told me that there was a shortage of people in the peer buddy system, because what happened was they had a lot of buddies but not enough students to do all the pairings. You know, you don't want to have a moment where you basically have one student who's left out and doesn't have a buddy to be with. And when she told me about that, I was like, you know what? Sure, I'll do it. Because when I thought about it, I thought, I've been struggling with making friends, throughout my life. Maybe this could be a chance where I could make a friend myself. This could be my chance. And this could be something I'll end up being proud of the moment I graduate from San Jose State. Being a friend for somebody and making an impact on their own lives. So what happened was I ended up signing up for the Best Buddy system. I fill out the form where I talk about my interests, what times am I available to hang out during, any accommodations that I need, and things like that. Sort of help them get a sense of who I am, my personality, so that way they can match me up with someone who matches my interest or personality. And during the day where I got to know my match, I found out who my match was, and this buddy that I was matched up with his name was Alex. He's a young student at post-secondary school. He's a wonderful guy that I got to know, who's really into musicals. One of his goals is to be able to go into an acting program at a community college, so that way he could fulfill his dreams of being an actor in theater. And in order to prepare for that, he's been doing some small acting, dancing gigs that he did in high school, and then at his post-secondary school, he's doing stuff like doing local productions of plays. One of the things that he was supposed to do this year was a production of Annie, a local production, where he played, I think, Trunchbull or something like that. Yeah, I forgot. I'm not really into the play Annie, but he told me that it was Trunchbull. But unfortunately, COVID kind of canceled that. But that's not going to stop him from trying to fulfill his dream of being a theater actor. And so that's kind of a sense of who he was. And I remembered the first few moments when we started talking to each other for the first time. It was very awkward because I remembered when we first met, it was very uncomfortable. We were very shy, and I didn't know what to expect because I didn't know how he communicated or how he liked to be communicated or what his needs and wants are. And he, on the other hand, doesn't know who I was and wasn't sure how to talk to me or whether he feels comfortable with our friendship. But after we had pizza and started talking, we started getting to know each other. I learned that he was interested in musicals, and I ended up sharing in kind my interest in musicals too. I told him my sister was a big fan of musicals. She sang in a couple of productions. I also told him that I have some interest too. Like, I actually play, in fact, know a little guitar, and I actually performed before. And he was like, "Wow, that's amazing!" And he was surprised too, because this was a guy who he just barely met, who is interested in stuff that he likes. And so from there, we started talking more about musicals, theater. He shared me a couple of stuff that he's working on for Annie, some of the songs that he likes from Annie, and just everything, things like that. And we also talked about Disney musicals too. So what ended up being awkward ended up being a board with a bunch of pegs on it, each peg being just a bunch of random topics that we touched on. And so it was entertaining though. Like, I never thought that how an awkward encounter could end up turning into such a meaningful conversation where we got to know each other, know our likes and dislikes, and really got in touch with what our deepest passions are. Like, I told him like who I am, what's my major, and think about that, and he told me about himself too. And at the end of that outing, I left feeling a bit happy. Like, I know there's going to be a struggle with getting to know each other, but whatever happens, we're going to work through it together. And it's not going to matter what troubles we went through, because while we're new to each other and we're barely getting to know each other, I have a feeling that we're going to be good friends later on. And so after that, we had a couple of small outings and just some brief exchanges with each other over the phone or just in person. He taught me how to play bocce, introduced me to a couple of his friends that were working at this bocce court that he invited me to. Also, I invited him to go bowling with me. He also had pizza again, where I got him a Christmas gift. I drew a little picture of him as a movie star with all the favorite Pixar characters and in the background, and him holding an Oscar for Best Actor. And he liked and put it in a nice little picture frame for him. And I think, and he appreciated it. So anyway, but as awkward but sweet our friendship was, we didn't actually get closer until later on, towards the end of my time at San Jose State. And after I graduated, that's when we really started to get to know each other and stay close. And I think it was because of the fact that, not only was I graduating, so I had a little more time for myself, but also because Alex, he also was kind of affected by COVID, because he loves in-person interactions. And I think one day he thought about me, and he thought about how, thought about me and wanted to, get in touch with me more. And so what he did was he invited me to Best Buddies College Nights, which is basically these, I think, monthly college nights where basically you meet all these buddies online, as well as some of the managers for the Best Buddies programs online, and you do activities like scavenger hunts or guessing games or charades. You play all these games, just fun little peaceful outings where you get to have fun and mingle with other people. And so we did a couple of those, and that's when I really started to kind of get to know him more and got closer to him. And while we did get close, there was one moment that really got me to appreciate him and really got to admire him as a person, as a wonderful human being. And that was when, for one of the college nights, one scenario that they had was that they had a talent show where all the buddies come together to perform a talent. And Alex invited me to that, and he asked me if I wanted to do the song Happy with him. The song Happy by Pharrell Williams from the movie Despicable Me 2. I was like, yeah, sure. Let's go for it. And so when he showed me the song and I decided to practice it myself and looked at the lyrics, I remembered thinking, wait a minute. Because around that time, I was taking guitar lessons, and while I still haven't finished that guitar course I took on Udemy, I learned enough to be able to play something, just strum chords. And having those set of guitar skills on the back of my head, I was like, what if we add some little fun to it? What if I could have myself play the guitar while Alex and I sing over it, sing the lyrics? And I thought that would be cool. Because, we could use a backing track and just sing over it, but I thought it would be more fun and exciting if we just did our own thing, made our own music, to sing over it. Would it be awesome? Because nothing feels better when you make something yourself and do something yourself on your own hard work and doing that. So for me, I decided, and plus it was an opportunity for me to practice my guitar skills and really hone in on it, get more experience with it. So I decided to practice Happy on guitar, and he decided to learn the lyrics, which was a struggle at first because he had trouble trying to keep tempo, and keeping accurate time. So, which was a bit tricky because there are times where we'd be offbeat, and so I had to take some time out to coach him into how to stay on beat and how to move through the song. And while it was difficult, we were able to get something done. I taught to him slowly. I found solutions to address these challenges. Some things I did were shorten the song. So instead of a 4-minute song, I reduced it down to a 3-minute song. I highlighted his parts for him so that way he knows when to sing. And also gave him some musical cues so that way I can sort of guide him towards when does he sing. And in some cases, I told him, there are parts like the chorus, for example, we could sing together and he can just follow my voice. And while it wasn't perfect, but it was something that made it fun. But it was still fun regardless, and we were able to get ourselves singing successfully. So we practiced guitar for a bit, and we had our own practice sessions on Zoom. I would practice guitar, and we would practice the lyrics together and go over them for an hour for 2 days. And the interesting thing was what happened a couple of days before the college night. So we had the guitar practice down, and we practiced the lyrics. We knew what we were going to do. But then a couple of days before the college night, Alex comes up to me and asks, hey, what if we dressed up as minions? Get some yellow shirts, get some fake paper glasses made out of cardboard, and just color them, and then wear some jeans. And hey, we complete the whole, and then we have a little show right here. We have a little performance here. We're not just playing our own music, but we're also dressed up in character. Make it fun a little. Add some variety because, because you can give a good performance, but you can also give an exceptional one. Have some fun with it. Don't just give the bare minimum though. And I was like, yeah, sure, that's awesome. And that's a really cool idea, man. Alex, you're such a creative guy. And that's when I really started to really admire him. Um, in a Saw him in a new light. So I really got to continue to appreciate him because while we had trouble communicating with each other, he's a really passionate, creative guy, and I just love this energy that he puts into his things. Like when you give him something to do, he commits to it 100%. And this college night performance is indicative of that. He not only does the bare minimum to give off a performance, but he also looks for opportunities to go above and beyond. And that's something that I admire in him, just that willingness and that enthusiasm for being creative. And I thought, wow, man, this is something that I want for myself, and this is something I really like. Props to you, Alex. And that's when we really started getting close. Just me admiring him and just us having fun together. I came up with the idea of having guitar playing instead of just a backing track, and he came up with the idea of dressing up as a minion, plus suggesting the song. So, on the day of the college night talent show, we decided to perform our rendition of "Happy" while we're kind of playing the guitar, and Alex kind of singing along, and both of us wearing our minion costumes. And it was fun. I felt excited. I was nervous, but I was still having fun. And he was grooving and dancing along too to the song. And then it ended up amazing a lot of people. There were people praising us left and right about how unique our performance was. And then one guy was like, "Man, that is something I've never seen before." Because after we finished our performance, one of the managers was like, "Now that I think of it, I just realized that you guys were dressed up as minions. Wow, man, you blew me away. you caught me off guard." And she thanked us for that. And I'll admit, coming out of that performance, I just felt good about myself. Not just for me, but also for Alex, because I felt like this was something that I'm proud of and something that got us to be closer together. I grew to admire his creativity, and he grew to kind of admire this support that I had for him and this friendship that we developed together. And this all paid off, as in a bonus though, when on our last college night, me and Alex, we got awarded at college night for being the best pairing for Best Buddies California. Overall, the best overall pairing. And the key thing that really got us that award was that moment when we performed "Happy." They saw how we got along together, the passion that we had for each other, the fact we were so supportive and enthusiastic for each other, and the fact that that we were creative, innovative, and just having fun together. And it showed when we started playing with each other and hanging out with the other buddies during the college nights. And that was something that they admired and they were proud of, and it was just amazing. I mean, we didn't do this for an award. I mean, this was something I didn't expect, but it was kind of nice to have, because other than an award, the most important thing that I liked was that we had fun. We started to enjoy each other's company. I liked him, and I, after that event, I definitely consider him as a friend and something that I want to keep in touch with, even after I'm graduating from San Jose State. And I'm not within the Best Buddies chapters at San Jose State. And to this day, we still talk to each other. We're still texting. We're still hanging out. We're playing Scrabble together now, virtually, which is interesting. And we enjoyed each other's company. It's really awesome. And for that college night, I got to give a little speech, and I told everybody about how I was grateful for Alex, how when I first started to meet Alex, it was very awkward. I didn't know what to say, but after a while, we I got to enjoy each other. I pointed out how I loved the fact that he introduced me to so many things. He introduced me to how to play bocce. He's fun, he's creative, he's very chatty. He likes to do things together. He's creative, he has a lot of energy that you don't find in many friends. And I hope to keep this friendship going, forever, ideally. And I enjoy his company, and I wish the best, for us. And when it was time to make a speech, he said similar things too. He said that, he likes Best Buddies, he liked what I did, and he thinks I'm a good buddy, and he still cares to me regardless, of any trouble that we come across, just trying to interact with each other. And it was very sweet. It was sort of indicative of the fact that I did something that impacted somebody's life. And I did it without knowing. Even when I was doubting whether I was doing things right or whether he appreciated my effort. And something that I needed to hear. And I appreciate for it. So if Alex, if you're probably listening to this podcast, although I'm not sure if you ever do, I just want to tell you that I really appreciate you, and I really do. And you've brought a lot of life and joy to my life that I hope was brought into yours as well, and that you appreciate, this friendship that we have together, because I did. I loved every moment of it, and no matter what happens still, you don't have to do it alone. We can do it together, and with us together as a team, we can take on anything. So if you ever, feel like a good hangout, you can always count on me. And I mean that. So, and even after I'm done with Best Buddies, though, we still talk to each other, and I'm still looking forward to join or support Best Buddies in any capacity, whatever. So there's also fundraisers, there's lots of different things, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited to hear more about it. And so, looking at Best Buddies overall, it's just a wonderful organization. It's doing so many people out there a service, and it's very impactful in that there's just friendships being formed every day, even in the unlikeliest of circumstances, even moments where people doubt themselves and wonder if they're capable of that kind of friendship. And while I understand that there are matches that don't work out, there's also something more than that I feel people should know, and is that when in any challenge that you face, as long as you're trying your best and that you show that you care, or at least do something about it, you could still impact people and make miracles. Because a Marine instructor once told me that 10% of life is about what happens to you, and 90% is what you do about it. And right here, I made a choice on what I did about the challenges that I faced with our friendship. Sure, I could complain about it, but it's more meaningful if I do something about it. And I did. I talked to my friends when I was having struggle trying to communicate with him, trying to figure out what's the best way to talk to him. In case something comes up, I always try my best to let him know about any complications that I have, and texting him, making sure he's okay, and checking in to see how he's doing. And while there's still going to be challenges left to come, but we've actually grown to a point where we appreciate each other's company, and we both have called each other best friends. So, in an overall sense, I think Best Buddies is a wonderful organization that could really change your life, if you put time into it. And if you do join Best Buddies, every experience is going to be different. And one thing to know is that you don't have to do things alone. Because there's always going to be people out there that will understand and will help you. And And that while you may struggle, always remember that the fact that you're even doing this thing for others is the most precious achievement of all, most impressive thing of all. And if you guys do want to check out Best Buddies, there's the website www.bestbuddies.org, where you can learn more about the organization and check out the website to see if there's any local chapters, at the schools that you go to, or information on fundraising or other events that you could participate in. Because if you put in the time, you put in the effort, it can be something that you'll be proud of and that you'll remember. And it could be something that other people will appreciate and remember too. All right, so thank you guys for listening to this podcast. I know I tend to ramble on and on and on, but hopefully, out of this podcast, you guys kind of get a sense of Best Buddies and what it meant to me. Because I'm proud of it, and for anyone who does join, I hope that you end up enjoying it as much as I do. So, thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you in another podcast. All right, take care. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to my podcast. If you guys like my content, check out and subscribe to my platform, The Autism Experience, available now on Spotify, Anchor, and YouTube. For social media, you can follow my Instagram account under the handler, The Autism Experience. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more from The Autism Experience.